This video is for anyone who is affected by TSW or even eczema for that matter. In today's video, not only am I going to cover the symptoms that you may be experiencing so that you have someone to relate to, somebody who understands, but I'm also going to go through the treatment options. And I have tried CAP therapy, which most people would think is the ultimate solution. Tried it, but I found something better. I've tried Chinese medicine. I have tried going to the emergency at hospital when I was at my worst. So I've tried the Western medicine route, going to dermatologist, tried Eastern medicine. I've even tried no moisture treatment. I could almost say that I've tried it all, but not completely everything. I have dabbled in different things, but I have found the solution. And this solution is a reason why I made today's video. Not many people in the world know about this, but more people need to, because TSW is a condition that is truly detrimental to people's lives, and all I want is to help people to heal so they can live their lives again fully the way they want to, with energy, with confidence, and with healthy skin. So let's just get straight into it. My name is Simran, and as of making this video, I am 22 years old. I had eczema since I was about 3 years old, maybe even younger, about as long as I can remember pretty much. And it started in the folds of my arms, and I'm pretty sure my mum said it was also behind my knees and sort of my back of my legs area. Now, as most parents would do when a child has eczema, they would take them to the doctor. And what did the doctor do? Surprise, surprise, prescribed steroid creams. Now, I ended up using steroid creams on and off periodically for around 19 years, I estimate, something around that time frame. And within that time frame, I used various different steroid creams. So some common ones are Sigma-Cort, Elicon, Aristocort. I think there were one or two more that I can't remember off the top of my mind, but what I do remember clearly is when I was a little bit older, I did go back to the doctor and say that, I still have this eczema problem. And if that was the case, I remember once I was just told that I need to use it more consistently, despite the fact that steroid cream should not be used for a prolonged period of time. They just kept giving it to me. And then when things were at their worst with just eczema before the withdrawal, before I stopped using them, I was just given higher potency steroid creams. Then along came 2023. Towards the end of that year, I found out about TSW, Topical Steroid Withdrawal, also known as Topical Steroid Addiction or red skin syndrome. And when I found out about the dangers of steroid creams, I stopped. But what I did not realize was the absolute hell that I would go through over the next 2 years with this condition. Bear in mind, I have already suffered most of my life from eczema. I remember just having my face feel like it was on fire. I remember times when I just did not want to shower because of the pain, the disgust I felt in my own skin, like having a shower could never make me clean. And that was before this started. So fast forward to when it did start, I was oozing. I had flakes on me, various parts. My body temperature began to rise at nighttime. And this went on for 2 years. Even though I didn't need it in the daytime, even if it was in the middle of winter where I live in Sydney, I needed to be cool at night because I was so hot. It was like my body was like an oven. I remember times when I'd have a fan on me all through the night, despite the fact that I have ducted air conditioning or I had an evaporative cooler. Sometimes I would even just go sleep downstairs just to be at a lower part of the ground, close to the ground near the tiles, with a fan on my skin because I was just so hot. Now, that was just one symptom, but as I already mentioned, the oozing, just constant oozing. The amount of times that my pillowcases would wake up and just see the marks of the ooze that fell on the pillowcases. Okay, so if you are going through this, you're not alone. You really are not alone. You will go through this. I'm just here to share my experience. I'm not here to recommend anything. I'm not telling anyone to go out here and do anything else. All I'm doing is speaking about my experience. Okay, so the flaking, that also went on for over 2 years, and it was just at all parts of my body, pretty much, random parts. Same with the oozing. I mean, at one point my hand here, which you can see is nice and smooth, that's just discoloration, which I've always had. It was just completely oozing, and I used to have to wear black gloves all the time, and then when I take them off, it was just this gross smelling ooze on my hands. Apart from that, the sleep, oh boy. And I think this is linked to the rising body temperature at night, but I would say for a solid 2 years I didn't really have extended period of days or weeks where I slept well. It was just terrible sleeping. I'm not even exaggerating when I say I probably just keep getting up about 20 times just to take the flakes off my face, to take the flakes off my pillowcase, just to walk around, go to the toilet, do something. I had to quit my job, and I know that a lot of people are going through this and might be in the same predicament, to the point where you have to quit your job and you can't do the same things that you used to do, and even going out became something that I didn't want to do. Oh, not to mention the bald head. Okay, the bald head. I started shaving my head as well because I just couldn't with the flakes everywhere on my scalp. It was just so itchy. I think I'm so sensitive to anything, just itchy, itchy, itchy. I mean, I barely even wanted to go out, and for 2 solid years I pretty much became a hermit. I would just lie in bed questioning, why is this happening to me? I couldn't even see a light out of it at sometimes. Meditation helped me get through it sometimes, but meditation cannot cure everything. Whilst it is really helpful in calming down your nervous system, reducing that cortisol, it cannot necessarily fix all the physical parts, and so that's why an appropriate treatment is necessary. Your friends, that's another thing. When you have topical steroid withdrawal and you're not feeling confident and you don't want to go out and you're just feeling kind of gross, your friendships might change, your social activities might change. You might become quite stuck to your house, but there is a way out. Those are just some of the symptoms that I was just talking about, and also meditation, which probably starts off in terms of the conversation about how to get over this. Now, you might have tried or heard of no moisture treatment, NMT. So the idea behind this is about really just drying up the skin so it sort of flakes off, I guess. I kind of butchered it there, but I guess that's kind of the gist. And I think some people have found that quite effective. But if you think about it, your body is full of fluids. Your body needs fluids, it needs water. So the idea of even limiting your water intake, just think about that. Is that really a good idea? Okay, maybe it would help with the proliferation in terms of drying out the skin so that it flakes, because that is probably the 4th and last stage in terms of like, I don't know, is it the 4th and last stage? I don't know. Well, it's a good sign. Okay, that's what I remember. I remember when I went to the cap clinic, they mentioned that flakes are good signs. So yes, that may help in that sense, but I personally, in my experience, didn't find no moisture treatment to be that helpful at all. So that's about no moisture treatment. Now, another thing that people like to explore is going to the dermatologist. Maybe you've gone to hospital, depending on the severity of your condition, where you've been. But in my experience, when I presented to the emergency at hospital and was given an appointment with the dermatology clinic, I was told that, well, you know, young people, you know, might think it's withdrawal, but we've done our research and we know that that doesn't exist and it's just your eczema getting worse. So what we're going to do is we're going to give you a treatment plan, and it's going to involve wet dressings, taking oral steroids, and some steroid lotion or cream ointment, I think it was. And if you come back to us in 4 weeks and it still hasn't improved your condition, then we will look at steroid injections. And I'm pretty sure they were also probably going to give me something like Dupixent. So Dupixent, I know that there are people in the community that do resort to Dupixent, but I just feel like immunosuppressants are not necessarily the way to go. And is it even an immunosuppressant? I'm not sure, but I do remember the period of time when that was sort of the avenues that I was looking at. Just self-injecting Dupixent does not sound like a holistic solution either. So I did not go through with that. Then comes along cap treatment. Let's talk about it. You see it online all the time. Cap treatment. Oh wow, after so many treatments, I'm so much better. The skin cell proliferation. But let me talk about what people don't want to talk about in relation to cap treatment. And that is the downtime. There is downtime. Okay, for 48 hours after you receive cold atmospheric plasma treatment, you are recommended to essentially isolate or be in that space free from irritants. And it's just common practice to avoid so many irritants. I'm talking perfumes, detergents, I don't know, gardening, so many different things. Spicy foods, fermented foods, this, that, and the other, right? There's allergies, there's irritants, whatever it is, right? And the stress factors. Yes, it's just a lot, okay? And I understand the thinking behind it. And I did try cap treatment. I went to the Bali clinic for anyone who is exploring that option. And let me tell you, the people at the clinic in Bali are some of the nicest people I have ever met. They are just so nice, so caring, and put so much effort into giving you as much information as possible, sharing their own experiences, history, and understanding, as well as the theoretical knowledge behind what they're doing. But all I'm trying to say is that for me, cap was not easy. Yes, cap treatment in Bali did help, but it's not the most affordable treatment. So if you're in the sort of predicament where maybe you might already have had to quit your job and then you're thinking of going to get cap treatment, you have to understand that it may take up to 6 months or even longer, 9 months, a year, however long it takes. And not only will you have to pay for the cap treatment, but then you have to pay for the rent in your place, and you'll have to really consider your whole lifestyle, because at that point in time, you will essentially be living just focusing on healing your topical steroid withdrawal. And in my experience, that was just not a good way to live. It really wasn't. And what that led me to do was to explore options of buying my own cold atmospheric plasma treatment machine. And so what I did is I did buy a machine, and that machine is called Dr. Platon. Platon? I'm not exactly sure, but it is a machine made in South Korea, and it is an aesthetic grade device, okay? So unlike the cold atmospheric plasma treatment machines made specifically for topical steroid withdrawal, based with Dr. J in Thailand and Bali, or I also know Skin Scholars in UK, those great clinics that really focus on topical steroid withdrawal. The Dr. Platon machine is not designed specifically for TSW, but I was so lonely and struggling in Bali that I was willing to take a lower grade from medical to aesthetic just to come home to where I live in Sydney and use that cold atmospheric plasma treatment then. And just the fact that I bought the cold atmospheric plasma machine after having tried the cap treatment, now it was a bit different, just indicates to you that I did see that helped, that I really thought that was the solution. But in my experience, it wasn't. So from June, July, August, September, October, November, for 6 months, I continued the administration of cold atmospheric plasma treatment at home after only 7 weeks of treatment in Bali, which did help me, but things still got worse. I was continuing to flare get better, flare get better. And I remember that at one stage my face was a little bit not as good as it is now, but still it looked much better. And I remember thinking, right now I'm eating absolute junk food and my sleep isn't good, and somehow this happened. And it really confused me because the traditional protocol was about diet related things I wasn't following, and still my skin appeared to be better. Yet again it flared, and again it flared, and it got worse, and it moved to different places. And I even got to the point after months and months of cap treatment and things getting better that I started oozing again. And if you understand the stages of TSW, oozing is the first stage. Okay, so I had made all this progress after almost 2 years, about 1.5 years. I'd made so much progress. You know, my skin was really starting to get better after trying these things and ultimately finding cap treatment and it improving. But I went all the way back down and it got worse yet again. And of course that could have been for a variety of reasons, but to me it didn't seem like anything very obvious. I had tried the elimination diets related to being gluten-free, dairy-free. For me, dairy is definitely a trigger, but gluten didn't really seem to make much of a difference. So I could not pinpoint what trigger it was that caused me to get so much worse. Now, one thing I want to mention is that in this time, from actually not June and July, but in August of this year, 2025, I started traditional Chinese medicine. I went to the TCM clinic. I tried the herbs, Chinese herbs, and acupuncture. Now, whilst this did not clear my skin, it helped me to gain a lot of weight, because prior to that I was very skinny to the point where it was malnourishment pretty much. This was something that was in the way of my healing. And the reason I'm mentioning this is because I actually only went to the Chinese medicine clinic and asked the doctor to help with my skin. But over the next, I think, 5 months, all that got better was my nutrition, my body, my bodily functions, waking again, hair going back, that kind of thing. But my skin, it just did not get better. Even though week after week I'd say, oh, I just want to fix my skin, I want to fix my skin. Of course, with Chinese medicine, if any of you want to go down that route, because there has been success with traditional Chinese medicine treatment in the TSW community, you've got to understand that they're going to look at your body in a holistic perspective, and it might take time as well to heal. And things might get better and worse, but they're going to probably a lot of Chinese medicine practitioners, except a couple, which I'll talk about soon, who really are able to isolate and help the skin. It's not always going to be the case. And you might find yourself week after week doing acupuncture and Chinese herbs, and things might not get better. So even though you might hear online, and I've seen online people talking and praising the amazing effects of Chinese medicine, just understand that each case is individual. And for me, it did not necessarily initially work that way. Also, I just want to give a shout out to Ayurvedic treatment. That's another option that I know people have success with. I can't recommend it because I've never tried it, but I can say that if things weren't working out, that's probably the next thing I would try. I have never tried red light therapy. I know that's another common one. After all these months of trying cap treatment and traditional Chinese medicine at the same time, with oozing starting again, with all the flakes, with the desperation to just try and get some good sleep, and I was taking Phenergan. Okay, I was taking sleeping Phenegans, and then I started taking Phenergan just to sleep. This is an antihistamine that makes you so drowsy. I would not take that again personally because of that effect. And just out of sheer desperation, I went to see, in my opinion, Australia's best skin specialist who uses Chinese medicine. Now, this doctor was recommended to me by a friend of mine who, after seeing my GoFundMe to try and help me raise money for the cold atmospheric plasma machine so that I could come back to Sydney, had sent me a message and told me about this doctor. But because I had never tried Chinese medicine, because I really wasn't sure whether after spending tens of thousands of dollars already trying to fix my skin, but it really wasn't doing much, whether I really wanted to make that investment in something that I'm not sure about, I just sort of put it off. I went to the other Chinese doctor, especially because that was a female, and then it took me a little bit of a time to come around to it. But I thought, you know what? If it's worked for them and that person who recommended me had much greater severity in their condition and they were able to heal, then I thought, you know what? Why not? Why not just give it a go? So that's what I did. And that was only 10 days ago from making this video. 10 days ago, I was flaked up. Now, I don't know if you can see, but my skin is so much better now. My hands are clear. I mean, my arms. 10 days ago, I went to see this doctor. 9 days ago, I started their treatment protocols. And today, my skin is already about 70% better. I can sleep. The quality of my life within just a few days of this treatment had improved significantly. I can sleep well. I mean, my body temperature already stopped rising at night when I started the Chinese medicine, which really helped me holistically. But now I don't ooze. I don't have flakes falling everywhere. My life is just better. I'm better. And so this is something that I want to share to the world. So the doctor's name is Dr. Shi Zong Zeng, and he has been treating skin for 32 years, to the point where he's pretty much perfected his treatment protocols. I was prescribed with 3 different herbal creams. Now, before you say, oh, well, if it worked that quick, are you sure there's not steroids hidden in that cream? I've checked the ingredients, and even my friend who got treated by them, I think 6 years ago, isn't reliant on that cream, okay? Because if it was steroid creams, it would be causing that flare up without using them. He's gone about 6 years, and he only was getting the treatment for 2-3 months and was fine, okay? And this is me without anything. I just had a shower and put no creams or anything on just to prove and show that this treatment works. So yes, I got 3 creams, but also herbs, a soap, and acupuncture. Okay, so those 4 elements make up the treatment protocols, and it is so much more affordable than other treatments out there, other therapies out there. Okay, this is a natural treatment using herbs, okay, not steroids. And again, this is just my experience. I'm not recommending it, but I'm just telling you that this doctor has helped me so much in a few days. And not just me. Because if it was just me and it was experimental, you know, I probably wouldn't even be sharing it. But the fact that I know people who have been in hospital come out with the quality of life again that they deserve, I know that this is what works. So if anyone is interested and wants the details of this doctor in Sydney, I will leave the details down below. But I'm not, again, going to recommend that this is what you need to do. You 100% get 50% better. You know, even though it's highly likely, every single case of TSW is different. And same with eczema. And that's why I said that this video is for people with eczema, because if you have eczema, he can also help you as well, right? Because that's where topical steroid withdrawal originates, right? People with eczema just wanting to get better, just wanting to improve their quality of life, and unfortunately they have just been given creams from big pharma system that just wants you to keep being reliant and keep paying for these terrible creams. Oh, not terrible creams, because there is a place for them, but not over a long period of time. So guess what I'm trying to say is that if you have TSW and right now you are just feeling like you're in the pits of hell, that you just cannot even fathom how you went from how you were before to what you are now, flaky and feeling disgusting, or feel like your life is over, feel like you're in pain, feel like you're just questioning everything, you are not alone. You really are not alone. If you have felt like you've gotten better and you've gone backwards, you are not alone. Okay, there are thousands of people out there like you. And one promise I can make is that there is hope. Okay, so even if it feels like you've tried everything, there's probably more things that are out there that you haven't tried. and you deserve to have clear skin. You deserve to be happy and well, and there are ways out there for you to experience that happiness. So I'm just gonna leave it there and give my contact details in case anyone has any questions. I'm not looking for clout, I'm not looking for high amount of views. All I'm looking to do is to help even one person to see that they're not alone, that there is hope. So I'll leave it at that. May you be well, happy, and peaceful. Bye.